Welcome back everyone. Welcome to another video of PPS. And as you people are knowing, we are doing for loops, right? We are in for loop. So some of you people will be wondering why sir is taking for loop from last 3 videos. Why isn't he going front అని చాలా మందికి డౌట్ వచ్చి ఉంటుంది. I'll show you why now. If in case you are from BBIT, definitely you should see this. See, this is our lab manual. Okay, this is our lab manual and you people belong to R21 syllabus, right? So see the programs till now, sorry, okay, till now you people have done programs like finding a rectangle, component interest expression, swapping two numbers, that this all are dummy. Till here everything is dummy, but when you come here at least you people will see something like case and switch. Okay, this is manageable. If if ladder is very simple, you can manage. But once you enter 5, your bad time starts. See, find the sum of individual digits. This is a for loop problem. Find the factorial. It's a looping problem. Check whether the given number is palindrome or not. It's a looping problem. And if you come down, printing the prime numbers from 1 to n, it's a looping problem. Fibonacci series, looping problem. GCD LCM, looping problem. Even x to the power y is looping problem. Here you can't use power of x comma y, not allowed. Here it's asking write a program. Okay, even this is a looping problem. Completely looping problems. Here, Pascal triangle, a looping problem. Find the greatest and smallest of an array, looping problem. Find the mean and variance of a given list, looping problem. Complete matrix, everything comes in dual loop format. This is also looping problem. See, everything is loops. Everything is loops. So if in case you don't understand for loop, you'll understand nothing more. That is the reason I'm taking this topic again and again and again. I know you people may be feeling irritated, but I'm really sorry. But this is the last for loop video. I want you people to understand. Okay, this is the last for loop video. And if in case you don't understand this if you don't understand this PPS starts from now. PPS starts from now, and this is the starting point of getting backlogs from here. From now, whatever we go, it may be for, while, do, while, files, binaries, that, this, everything, transports, matrix, everything. Whatever you learn, this is the starting point of PPS. Till now, what you did was just a warm up. Just a warm up, but your game starts now. Clear? So if in case you people are having any doubt in any topic in PPS till now, stop this video right here. Stop this video right here and go back to that video, complete that topic and come back. Or else trust me, you people are gonna fail miserably. This is true fact, ma. No one can protect you. Completely true fact. Okay? Now I want to write some programs. I want to write at least 3 programs in this video to make you familiar with for loop. Clear? It may be nested for loop or simple for loop. Let's do this. Let's really do this. So write down the first problem. Write a C program. I'll write WAP. Okay? Write a C program. WACP to find factorial of a number. Factorial of a number. And if in case you have seen my last 2 videos, you people will be knowing how to use for loop. Okay? So program starts from here. This is header file hash include stdio.h. Write it yourself. This is int main. Okay, then you will ask for the number for which you want to find factorial. So that is input n, that is scanf and printf. Printf enter the number, scanf the number, and you have to use a loop. So definitely I have variable called as I, and I have to save the factorial number f. So see, now I'll directly start from for loop. For, if you want to find the factorial for 5, you have to multiply all the numbers. 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. If it is 10, 10 into 9 into 8 into so on up to 2 into 1. This is the formula. So see here, for I is equal to 1, where I will give me the values of 5 or 4 or 3 or 2 or 1. I is less than or equal to n. That is, it is a range. If I give 5, 1 to 5 numbers will be taken. I plus plus. I plus. If you have seen my previous videos, you will understand this line. Okay. Next, factorial is equal to factorial into I. That's it. The program completes here. You will come out here. Printf factorial is equal to %d comma f, %d comma f, return 0, close. This is how you write this. And this program I have traced in previous video. This is just to make you get back where we stopped. Okay, I stopped with the factorial number. Now This video explanation is there in the previous video. You can go there and find it out. I have traced it. I don't want to waste my time here. Now let's write the actual program. Sorry, my father called, so I had to cut the video. Yeah, we are done till here. Okay, these are the programs we wrote yesterday. This is for loop. Now let's write the actual programs. So just give me, let's compare with our lab programs itself. I don't want to confuse you. Let's do some lab programs if in case they suit in for loop. So I'll write everything. Let's come here. Write a C program to find the individual digits of a number. Okay, this can be done using while loop, and this can also be done using for loop. I'll do it using while loop, not now. Find the factorial of a number. I just did it. Write a C program to check whether the number is palindrome or not. To check if the given number is palindrome or not. This can also be done by while loop. Let's do it here. So while is very simple. So sometimes it's better to go for while loop, and both, what is this, 5a and 5c will be done using while loop by me. Okay, now sixth program, we'll do this one for this video. Write a C program to display prime numbers from 1 to n. Very important problem, very important. Okay, so just a second. Okay, let's do write a C program to print prime numbers. Very important problem, and I explained this for both CS, MA and ASB section today. None of them understood. So let's go very slow. See, first of all, what is a prime number? A number is said to be prime if it is divisible by 1 and itself and no other numbers in between. That is, if we take number 5, 1, 2, 3, 4 are its previous numbers, and it should be divisible only by 1 or by itself and not by any other number. So 5 is definitely a prime number. Whereas 10, if we take from 1 to so on up to 9, okay, 10 is divisible by 2 and it is also divisible by 5. This makes it not a prime number, but it makes it a composite number. It's a composite number, third standard mathematics. So that's it. This is the funda of prime number and not a prime number. So if in case they give 11, starting from 1 to so on up to 11, you have to find if it is divisible by any other number other than 1 and itself, and if that happens, it's not a prime number, or else it's a prime number. This is first funda. Okay, now let's start writing the program. I'll write the full program and I'll trace it for you. So make sure you understand this. This is a problem of what you call nested loops. This is the problem of nested loop. If you know nested if, that means that if inside a if, and if it is a nested loop, loop inside a loop. Okay, 1 second. Water kawali, water. Okay, let's start. I'll use red ink. No, I'll use black ink, it's fine. Hash include stdio.h. This is common. Okay, now let's start main. As you people know, main is the stomach of C program from which the program execution starts. Now what and all are required? We require definitely n. N is nothing but the number, and I require I to check for loop. And don't close it yet. There may be a possibility that we may need intermediate variables as well. Don't close it. Now come here. Printf. Enter the number. Done. Enter the number. Scanf. You have to write not SF. You have to write scanf. %d ampersand n. Done, Amma. We got the user input. Now we have to check if the given number is prime or not. See now. This is a nested loop problem. A single for loop will not help you. So first for loop is to access the numbers. That is, if I give 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 unnai kada, this number should be accessible for us to check if it is a prime number or not. For that, for I is equal to, so tell me, what is the starting number? It is 1. According to the question, prime numbers from 1 to n ichar kabatti, starting number is 1. I less than or equal to n, because even 5 should be counted, I plus. This first loop will give us all the numbers starting from 1, next 2, next 3, next 4, next 5, next 6, so on up to 7 or 8, all numbers. See, this problem is, first of all, understand, they will give you a range starting from 1 to n. It may be 1 to 5. You have to print all the prime numbers in between. 2 is a prime number, 3 is a prime number, 4 is a prime number, and 5 is also a prime number. If you take it as 1 to 20, it will print all prime numbers. 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13 and 17. These are all the prime numbers. So your program should print all these prime numbers. Okay. So now what this for loop does is it will give you input one after one, that is completely from 1 to 20 all the numbers 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17 18 19 20. It is gonna give you number one after one. Your next loop has to perform checking if it is a prime number or not. Okay, now come down. For tell me, what is the smallest prime number? What is the smallest prime number? The smallest prime number is 2, not 1. Okay, so start from 2. For j is equal to 2, j less than. Now understand this part very clearly. If I is equal to 5, that is the number we are checking. If the number is prime or not is 5, what and all numbers should we check with? We should check with 1, 2, 3 and 4, right? Especially 2, 3, 4. So here, since I is giving me the value of 5, so I want to get the numbers from 1, 2, 3, 4 to check if they are divisible, dividing 5. So here you should write j is less than I, not j is less than n. J is less than I, j plus plus. The second loop will give, see, first understand, this is a very complicated problem. Understand, if I is giving me a number, say 10, j will help me to check if 1, 2, 3, 4 so on up to 9 any number will divide this I or not. If none of the numbers divide, we will take it as a prime number. Even if one number divides 10, we will take it not as a prime number. So now understand the concept. If I is 5, for us I is 5, I modulus of j, that is 5 modulus of 2, 5 modulus of 3, 5 modulus of 4, 5, that's it, 5 modulus of 4. This is what is happening inside the second loop. We are checking if for every single digit less than the given number I, will it divide. For I is equal mod j is equal to 0. If I mod j is equal to 0, what does this mean? If 5 modulus 2 is equal to 0, or 5 modulus 3 is equal to 0, or 5 modulus 4 is equal to 0, if that happens, if the number is divisible, we will set a flag. C is equal to 1. Just write C is equal to 1. I'll explain you why are we writing this. Then use break. Close if, close the first for. This for ends here. Don't get confused. This for ends here. Our I loop is still open. Just our second loop closed. In very simple, if any number divides the given number for us, we will set C is equal to 1. I'll tell you why. When we trace the program, you'll get to know why. Now, what if here, before starting here, you have to initialize one more variable C, okay? And here, you have to initialize C is equal to 0. Inside first for loop. Before you open second for loop, you have to initialize C is equal to 0. Now check, why did I do that? Now understand here. It's a very complicated program. I know it's hard to understand one go. You can watch this video n number of times, but please understand. See now, if in case C becomes 1, let's take an example. I is 4, okay, I is 4. Remaining numbers are 2 and 3. Okay, these are the values for j if the value of I is 4. Now tell me, 4 modulus 2 is equal to 0. Is this true? Yes, it is true, because 4 is divisible by 2. We get the remainder 0. What happens? C becomes 1. Okay. Second possibility, let's say I is equal to 5. Okay. And j values will be from 2, 3 and 4 for 5. So 5 modulus 2 is equal to 0. It will check for first iteration. Next 5 modulus 3 is equal to 0. It will check for second iteration. And 5 modulus 4 is equal to 0. It will check for last iteration. Is anywhere it is divisible by this number 5? No. So C remains 0. That's it. That is what is happening here. Nothing else. That is what is happening in between the if. If the number is divisible by any other number, it becomes 1. Or else C remains 0. That is what is happening. Why did I do that? Now understand. Now see, why did I do it? The reason why I did it is, once we complete the for loop, come back to our I loop. It's not closed yet. Our I for loop is still open. See, our just second for loop has closed. Still our main for loop is open right here. If C is still equal to 0, that is, it didn't even enter once into this if case. Even after completion of second for loop, write printf percentage d a bit space comma I and close this. Why did I write this? Why did I write this? It's very simple. If in case the given number was divisible by any other number, C would have become 1. That is, for the example, 4 modulus 2 is equal to 0. That is, I is 4, modulus j is 2 is equal to 0. It would have become 1. That means 4 is not a prime number. True. But if you check for 5 modulus 2, 5 modulus 3 as well as 5 modulus 4, none of them could divide 5, so it still remained as 0. So if C is still 0 after coming out of J loop, it clearly means it's a prime number, and this particular block will print it for me. Okay, it is printing the number which was not divided by any other number, which is clearly a prime number. This much is clear. I believe this much is clear. And now close the for loop also. This for loop that you opened here, close it here. This closes the for loop. I hope this much is clear. I'll trace the program. Don't worry. Just understand what did I write. I will trace the given program. Okay, Nama. Okay. I hope this much is clear. I hope this much is very clear. Done? Done or not, ma? Yeah. Now see this. Let's trace our program. But before that, tell me, is 1 a prime number? Is 1 a prime number? No. 1 is neither a prime number nor a composite number. It's just a number. See, the definition of prime number itself says it should be divisible by 1 or itself. So 1 cannot be a prime number. So you can directly start I is equal to 2. Don't start with 1. Start I is equal to 2. That is, if they are giving 5 numbers, you just have to check if 2, 3, 4 and 5, any of them are prime number, not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because 1 is not a prime number. So start your first loop by 2, I less than or equal to n, I plus plus. This will give you all the numbers in the range. Then this loop will check if the given number is prime or not. Now let's trace my program. Let's trace my prime number program. This is very important for you to understand for 2 reasons. First one, this is a complicated for loop, and second one, this is a nested for loop. Okay, let's start. This is my I. This is my values for I. This is my corresponding values for J. This is my corresponding values for J, and this is the corresponding value for C. What happens with C? Okay, done. Now let's assume the user entered the value of n as 5. That is, he wants to print all the prime numbers between 1 to 5. And is 1 a prime number? No. So initially we started I is equal to 2. Okay, now let's just check. I is equal to 2. Now it will come into our for loop. Now see, 1 second. If I'll use the different thing for you to trace, I'll use red ink. See now. Now J is equal to 2 is set. Now what is the value of J? 2. Is 2 less than 2? Is the condition true or false? The condition is false. We will not even enter this for loop. We'll directly come here. Because J less than 2 is completely false. Second for loop didn't even get executed. Now check here. If C is equal to 0, is C equal to 0? Yes, our C is still equal to 0 because we initiated that number. Now, is C equal to 0? Yes, printf percentage di. J loop didn't even get executed. C value, that is, if C is equal to 0, I value should be printed. We printed out the value 2. First iteration completes. Now the second time, I becomes 3. As you people know, if I is less than J, if J is less than I, this term should be taken. So 2 will be there. For J is equal to 2, the loop will run. But for J is equal to 3, the loop will not run because 3 is not less than 3. Only one condition. Now come here. Now the value of I is 3 and the first value of J is 2. Is 3 mod 2 equal to 0 ma? See, 3 mod 2 ante inte. 2 ones are 2. The remainder is 1, which is not divisible. So it didn't even enter this. It directly comes here and check. Still the Z value is 0. So we'll even print the number 3. Done ma? I hope this much is clear. Next, I value becomes 4. So what are the possible numbers J loop can run? J is equal to 2 and J is equal to 3, and J is equal to 4 won't run because 4 less than 4 is false. Now you see the first number. One second. Now focus here. What is the value of J? The value of J is initially 2. And what is the value of I? The value of I was 4. Is 4 mod 2 equal to 0, ma? Is it yes or no? Is 4 divided by 2 0? 2 2s are 4. It is 0. So it will enter this if condition for the first time. And what it will do? It will do C is equal to 1. That is the value of C for the first time. It was 0 here. It was 0 here. But here it becomes 1 for the first time. And after that there is break. So what does a break do in a loop? Understand? When the break keyword is encountered inside the loop, the most nearest loop to that particular keyword will stop executing. That is, for this particular break, the nearest loop is J and not I. So the J loop execution will stop here. Okay, it will just stop here. It will come out to here. It will start from here now. It will come out here. And now check. If C is equal to 0, but what is the value of C now? C is equal to 1. So will it enter this if loop? No, we will not enter this if loop. So neither the value of I is not gonna get printed. Okay, again after this we'll come back here. Now the I value is 5. Okay, now the I value is 5. Listen properly. Now see, what is the first thing we are doing? We are resetting the value of C here. This is why I reset. C becomes 0 again. Now C is again equals 0. Now check. We have to check even if 5 is a prime number or not. So here it comes, J is equal to 2, J less than 5. So what are the possible numbers? J is equal to 2 is satisfied, J is equal to 3 is satisfied, J is equal to 4 is satisfied. But when J becomes 5, 5 less than 5 is false. So this particular iteration is not gonna execute it. So now, as you people know, trace it yourself. Write down. Is 5 mod 2 equal to 0? No. Is 5 mod 3 equal to 0? No. 5 mod 4 equal to 0? No. So did we enter this for loop and make C is equal to 1 for this 5 value? No. We'll directly come out here. We'll come out here and check. C value is 0 again because I reinitialized C value as 0 and none of this if condition had executed. So if C is equal to 0, print of the value of I. Will we print the value of I? Yes, we will print the value of 5 here. Done. So what are the values we can print? Did we print 2, 3 and 5? So the given range was 1 to 5 and the values we printed is 2, 3 and 5. Are these all prime numbers or not? Yes, these are all prime numbers. So this is the simplest logic you can apply to print prime numbers. I will rewrite the program here. Don't worry, I'll rewrite the complete program below. But for now, understand that this is the program you need to write to print the prime numbers in the given range. And this particular program will work for any value less than or equal to 2 lakh. If you give the n value as 2 lakh or 2,50,000 something, it will work because until you enter a number in the range of integer, the answer will come. But if in case you enter something like this like 240222, whatever it is, if you exceed the limit of an integer, the program will stop executing. You will get the answer 0. Okay. Now I want to write this program again in a very crystal clear manner so that you people can copy in the notes or somewhere. Okay. I am writing the program again, but this time very clearly. I hope you understood the execution. Hash include std. Please take down the program if in case you want. Int main. Come here. Int I need a variable n. I have 2 loops I and j, right? And I have a c value c. Printf enter the number. Scanf %d ampersand n. Now you need to check 2 conditions. If n is less than 2, and because prime number starts from what? prime number starts from 2. If n is less than 2, printf enter a valid range. Enter a valid range, because if you give answer as 1, there is no prime number at all. Okay, enter a valid range, and here write return 0. I'll tell you why now. Return 0. When you write return 0, it will end the execution of main. This is first thing. And second thing, when you give 0, it means that normal termination, not a error termination. The moment if user gives the input 1 or 0 or -1 -2, this if loop will get executed. It will print enter a valid range, and the program execution stops here itself. That's it. Rest all whatever you are gonna do, nothing is gonna get checked. Okay, but if in case he enters the number 2 or more than 2, this if loop is not gonna get executed directly. It will come here. Okay, now write the printf again. Printf the prime numbers are colon /n bracket close. You have to write this line before the looping statements, because if you write this line in the looping statements, it will keep on printing this line again and again and again and again and again, which is really annoying. So print it before even starting the loops. Now let's come back here. Write the first for loop. For I is equal to 2, I less than or equal to n, I plus plus. What does this give? I will give me all the numbers in between the range. It may be 2, 3, 4, 5, so on up to n. This is why we use first for loop. The second for loop is to check the inside numbers. That is, if we give 5, you have to check is it divisible by 2, 3, 4. Here it is 2, 3, 4, so on up to n minus 1. To check these numbers, if it is divisible by any number, we are using the second for loop, and the condition is sorry, not if, what am I writing? Not if. Okay, second for loop. For j is equal to 2, j less than I, because if this is I, this should be less than I, j plus plus. Okay, j less than I. This is my semicolon. What the 1 second. My semicolon itself looks like j. Okay, j less than I, j plus plus. Okay, come now, check. If I mod j is equal to 0. If I mod j is equal to 0, what do I do? Set the c value as I, put break. The break will terminate the most nearest loop, that is j loop will get stopped execution and will come back to I. This is first thing, and here complete our j loop. J loop ends here. J loop ends here. Now we have to print the prime number as well. So if c is still equal to 0, printf %d, give a blank space here, give some space here. Okay, and I. Close this and close our I loop. So if in case c becomes 1, where will we reset the value of c? We have to reset it here. C is equal to 0. You have to reset it inside for loop, first for loop, but before the second for loop. Okay, write it here. You have to initialize the value of c is equal to 0 inside the first for loop, but outside the second for loop. So you have to write it in between the two for loops. This is the perfect position. After this, return 0 and close the program. This is your prime numbers program. Now I'll show you what happens in the output part. Output, it will ask enter the number, you will enter 5. After that it will print the prime numbers are. The prime numbers are. Okay, then it will have colon, then you have /n. So first prime number is 2. Okay, first prime number is 2. What happens if you don't give this space is, it will print 235 like this, which looks like 235, which is a wrong. So you are having space in between, 2 space 3 space 5, and this is what this program output looks like. This is how you use nested for loop, a loop inside a loop. Understanding this? A loop inside a loop, a loop inside a loop. I hope this much is very clear. This is a most important concept, because as I told, see here, this program, this program, this program. One second, wait. This card changes. 1 second. Open again. Come here. It looks like Messi. Lionel Messi's cricket bat. Okay, see here. I'm just coming back again so that, see here, all these programs, it may be 6A, 6B, 6C, 7A, 7B, 7C, 7D, and even 8A, 8B, 9A, 9B, 9C, and even 10A, 10B, 10C, and not 11. Okay, 11B, as well as all strings, every string, 12A, 12B, and this is not okay. This is also a for loop problem. Okay, this is also a for loop problem. So all this, wherever I have ticked, everything is gonna use for loop, everything is gonna use for loop. And if in case you people don't understand for loop, trust me, you will get PPS's backlog, pakka PPS backlog. So make sure you take as much time as you want today or tomorrow. By this Sunday, you people should be clear with how to use for loop. All the 3 levels of for loop, that is initialization, that is this one. You have to be clear with how to initialize, how to terminate, how to increment and decrement. And you should also be familiar with nested for loops, one inside another. So watch this video n number of times, understand what's happening, trace it down using I, J, K values, and please make sure that you understand this concept. Without this, there is no PPS, and this is the starting point of your PPS. And inside for loop, you will use if else, else if ladder, nested if else if needed. You may even use switch inside the for loop. You can even use all the arithmetic operators, relational operators, logical operators, everything inside for loop. So now understand, this is your train. This is called as PPS. The first compartment is your unit 1. The second compartment is your unit 2. We are here. Okay. And if in case you have confusions here, the train stops here itself and you will never understand unit 2. Pakka PPS back. You will have PPS backlog. So to stop it, if in case you are having any doubts in unit 1, complete it today itself using the YouTube channel. You have all videos available in this channel. Okay. And once you come to unit 2, unit 1 should be crystal clear, and when you are doing unit 2, every single concept should be crystal clear. Starting from if to for loop, everything should be done today. Okay, complete it completely today, or else from tomorrow my class will look like a Korean movie without any subtitle. This is 100% truth. Okay, take as much as time you want today, but learn for loop and nested for loop, operators, learn if else, else if ladder, switch, everything I have done starting from class 1 till today. Everything should be done today. Okay, from tomorrow, if you people don't understand even a single concept of any left or previous topics, from tomorrow you will understand nothing from my side. Okay, make sure you people put effort and study today. Bye.